he saw a most wonderful sight. When he went near the window and looked out of it, his eyes presented him the most wonderful sight. His eyes met with the most fabulous scene. Through a little hole in the wall, the children had crept in, and what was the most fabulous scene? It was that through hole, a little hole had, say, had developed there in the wall, somewhere in the wall, and through that hole in the wall, children crept in. Children came inside. They sneaked in. They sneaked inside the garden, and they were sitting up the branches of the trees. And entering the garden here, they were sitting on the branches of the trees. In every tree that he could see, there was a little child, and the trees that were there, in every tree there were children sitting on the branches, on their branches. And the trees were so glad to have the children back again that they had covered themselves with blossoms and were waving their arms gently above the children's head. And even the trees were happy. The trees were joyous. They were excited, and because of this joy, because of this excitement and pleasure, they had blossomed themselves. That is, the trees were covered with blossoms, with leaves and flowers and fruits, and were waving their arms gently above the children. And they raised their arms, that is, they raised their branches above the children's head. That is, the branches were full of leaves. That is, all the trees had become green, and they become colorful at the same time because of the blossom, because of the flowers. The birds were flying about and twittering with delight, and the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing. Okay, so everyone was excited, everyone was happy, everyone was delighted. The birds were flying about. Now, birds were flying about from here to there, from one side to the other, twittering with delight. And they were twittering, they were chirping in delight, out of happiness. They were chirping. And the flowers were looking up through the green grass and laughing, and even the flowers had come out of the grass, or say they were looking through the grass and laughing. Even they were pleased. It was a lovely scene. The scene was lovely. The scene was pleasant. Only in one corner it was still winter, but he found that a corner of the garden still had winter there. And so it was the farthest corner of the garden, and in it was standing a little boy. So what he noticed, that the farthest end, the far end of the garden had still winter there, and there stood a boy. In that part of the garden there stood a boy. The boy was there, still there was winter. That was quite surprising. So what's there, let's see. It was so he was so small that he could not reach up to the branches of the tree, and he was wandering all round it, crying bitterly. So The reason why there was still winter because the child was so small, was too small to reach up to the branches. He could not climb up the tree. He could not reach up to any branches, and he was just going round and round the tree and crying. He was also crying bitterly crying, and that's why there was still winter. The poor tree was still covered with frost and snow, and the north wind was blowing and roaring above it. And because of this, because the tree did not get the say association of a child to it, did not get the touch of the child. The child was not pleased coming near the tree, and that's why there was still snow and frost, and even the north wind blew there. "Climb up, little boy," and said the tree, and it bent its branches down as low as it could, but the boy was too tiny. Now the tree said, "Climb up, little boy." The tree appealed, the tree pleaded the boy to climb up, and not only it said a thing, but it lowered its branches as low as possible. Still, the boy was too tiny for it. Still, the boy could not climb. The boy could not climb up the branches, could not get hold of any of the branches there. And the giant's heart melted as he looked out, and as he saw the small child unable to climb up the tree, and there was still winter because of that, his heart melted, seeing the trouble of the little child. "How selfish I have been," he said. "Now I know why the spring would not come here." He said now he realized his mistake. He said that he had been very selfish, and said that now he knew why the spring would not come to his garden. Now he realized his mistake. He realized why the spring would not come to his garden. "I will put that poor little boy on the top of the tree, and then I will knock down the wall, and my garden shall be the children's playground forever and ever." And then he said he will go down and help the child sit on the top of the tree, that is on the top of the tree branch, and then say top of the tree only, and then he would go near the wall and knock it down, and from now the garden, that his garden, will be children's playground forever and ever. Then he decided that from now on his garden would be for the children, and it would be their playground forever, and from now on there would be no restrictions on them or to them. He was really very sorry for what he had done. He was very sorry. He felt really bad for his actions, and whatever he did, that he did not allow the children to come in. So for his action, he was very much sorry. So this is all for now. Thank you.